My name is Dan. I am the editor for Baltimore Gay Life, which is the community center's news magazine in production since 1979. The center has been around since 1977. And this is Paul. He's our Pride volunteer coordinator. The center also puts on Pride. And it's been going on since 1977. The center itself, 75, yeah. And the center started doing it in the late 70s, and it's the primary source of fundraising for the center as well. I think Pride has definitely gotten bigger, and I think Pride ebbs and flows in sort of its point of focus a little bit. You can probably talk a little more.
Yeah, Pride is a direct correlation to the people involved. So obviously it's a huge undertaking. You have several different pre-Pride events that we put on prior to the actual event, and then we have the two-day event. Now, for the weekend of Pride, we get between 30 and 40,000 people that descend for Pride for the weekend. That's a lot of people and a lot of things going on, so it takes a lot of bodies. We do have a very big change year to year with volunteers. Some years we're heavy and we have more hands than we'll ever need. Sometimes we're barely scraping through to get 5 people to help us. So, that is a direct correlation, and with Pride being a fundraiser of the GLCCB rather than a separate foundation that just runs Pride, the main focus of Pride isn't necessarily to just throw this fabulous party and move on. It's to actually make an impact in the community, to bring funds to the center, to offer services year-round to the LGBT community. So that's sort of how that works.
The history of the center.
Mm-hmm. Well, it started with the Pride people, the people that put on Pride back in 1975. They did that for 2 years. Mm-hmm. After that is when they kind of jumped in with getting, what was it called back then? The Baltimore
Gay Alliance.
Gay Alliance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Baltimore Gay Alliance, there was just a group of people who wanted a resource center for LGBT people in Baltimore. And I'm not exactly sure of the history. We do have a whole archive at the University of Baltimore that sort of timelines everything, but they sort of engaged the community and raised funds to purchase a building, which is 2 blocks over from here at 241 West Chase Street. They purchased that in 1980. It was a 3-story gumball factory at some point. And the center had that until last year when they had to sell the building. So we moved over here to the Waxter Center. We have a lending library. We have a computer center for the community to use. So we have drop-in hours between 9 and 5, Monday through Friday. We also have evening programs ranging from, we have several trans programs that meet throughout the month. We have several women's groups and a couple of AA and NA meetings meet here as well. We have a youth group. Actually, we have 2. We have a youth group and a young adult group that meet as well. So we kind of house those programs in the center as well. We are a nonprofit, right? So yeah. We're sort of very nonprofit and kind of have to deal with that. Most of our funding comes from grants that are directly related to LGBT, providing LGBT resources or resources that are important to the LGBT community. So we do have a paper, and that is run through advertising. It's kind of we have national advertisers, but we also have community advertisers. So there's sort of an element of the community helping out the community center in that respect. I think that I can't really speak on the fundraising efforts or the development, but we do have donors who directly sort of give, and those are the primary sources of income for us and what we do to ensure that we can continue to do it. Well, we do have, so there are several LGBT organizations, both in Mount Vernon and in Baltimore. There's Free State Legal, which is a pro bono LGBT legal organization that offers a lot of pro bono work for lower income LGBT people, a lot of trans folk who need like name changes or documentation changes. So Free State Legal is one. I know that our executive director talks to Chase Brexton Health Services, which actually was it was started as a clinic with the glccb in the 70s, and they grew out of the space, and then they became Chase Brexton, which is obviously much larger than we are. And there's Equality Maryland, which is sort of the equality legislative LGBT group based in Maryland. So there's
Which also started at the center. They
Oh,
initially
did they?
rented out space at the center and sort of with their own thing with us. Initially,
Yeah.
when it was Free State Justice, I believe, before they changed to Equality.
That could be, yeah. There's like a whole equality federation. There's like a national equality federation. So many states sort of have like, there's an Equality Maine and Equality California and Equality Maryland, and they all kind of do lobbying for LGBT issues in their state capitals or regional jurisdictions. Hearts and Ears is another organization actually that we work pretty closely with, or that we've begun to work really closely with, especially with Pride. They're down the street, and they sort of offer health and mental wellness services to the LGBT community. I think the bars. We've had relationships with some of the larger bars here in Mount Vernon for a long time. So yeah.